Will the Cleveland Cavaliers beat the Atlanta Hawks tonight, or will they rest a lot of players? Stay tuned. I'm locked in.
This is Locked On Bets, the daily betting show that means business from the Locked On Podcast Network. Hosted by Lee Sterling and Kevin Rogers, they're dropping fearless picks with an inside edge to put money in your pocket. If there's action, they've got the lock. This is where smart bets start. It's Locked On Bets.
Welcome to the Wednesday edition of Locked On Bets. Kevin Rogers and Lee Sterling of Paramount Sports with you. And as always, we appreciate you making Locked On Bets your first listen of the day here on the Locked On Podcast Network. And went 2-1 last night. Back in black, in the black. We're wearing black today, so happy about that. And we got more winners to hand out today. So looking forward to that. NBA, NHL, and Major League Baseball. So Lee, let's get it going with our lock of the day.
Open it, open it, open it! Lee has the key to the lock of the day.
The Cavaliers aren't playing the Grizzlies tonight. They get the Atlanta Hawks this evening. And Cleveland at 50-29, Atlanta 45-34. We'll see who suits up for the Cavs. They have a lot of guys that just are questionable at this point. Heading down the stretch, Cavs a short favorite here at home. So, Lee, what do you like in this Eastern Conference battle?
Yeah, and this line opened up at 1.5, went to 2.5, and now there's some money coming in on Atlanta. And I think it's coming in on the wrong team. Why do I say that? I think that this Atlanta team can beat the bad teams. They just can't beat the top 3-4 teams in either conference. I just don't think they have the talent. Don't think that they have the shooting, and defense is great. But when you have great offense, what we're seeing in the NBA can usually override some pretty good defense from the Atlanta Hawks. So the Atlanta Hawks want to move up. They're sitting at 5th, or at least hold that position. They don't want to fall back, in my opinion, to 6 and have to face New York. Cleveland, if it started today, Cleveland, Atlanta, they face each other. Cleveland, I think, would like to move up here. So they don't want to have to they want to get the better position. I do think that if they can get to the 3 spot and face Toronto, I think that's their goal. I think Toronto is an easier route even over Atlanta. So Donovan Mitchell didn't play in the other game, the game we had last against Memphis. And I had a couple calls from clients who are like, Donovan Mitchell is going to be a scratch. I'm like, don't worry about it. So much depth here. And I think there's a good chance he's going to play tonight. And this Atlanta team, I just don't think when you stretch them out, when you have a lot of weapons like Cleveland does and a lot of depth, I think it creates too many problems for this Atlanta team. So we were riding Atlanta for a while. They're a hottest team. They went 14-1. They were a covering machine, but now the playoffs are coming near. I think reality is going to set in, and Cleveland is a top 3, top 4 team in the East, and they could win a series or two. So like the trade they made right now, looking better and better, but just think that Atlanta going to be up against it. So I'm going to lay the small spot at home, take Cleveland. It's going to be a level 2 lock.
And Cleveland already in the playoffs, Atlanta on the doorstep of the playoffs, so getting close to clinching. They still got a little bit of work to do to clinch the Southeast Division, but Atlanta, big game for them, and headed to Cleveland tonight. So we'll see how that one unfolds. We mentioned in the Open League, 2-1 night last night. Andrew Abbott finished under his strikeout prop against the Marlins. Marlins don't strike out a lot. Marlins blew that game last night. I mean, imagine. What's even worse of having the Marlins last night is having the under in that game. You were in the bag at 2-0, and Cincinnati went 6-3 in extra innings. But at least Andrew Abbott, though, pretty much cruised in that one with the under and his strikeout prop.
Yeah, we had a correlated prop to game bet there. We had given out the under, which was easy. I mean, Marlins making a lot of contact. Yeah, they don't even have home run power or even warning track power, but they make contact. And even though Abbott is really good, not many strikeouts at all. That was an easy winner. Thought we had the winner for our clients lane. Money line -130, -135. Sandy was cruising along, 3 hits and 2 walks through 8 1/3. And what does the manager McCullough do? He comes out and pulls him with runners on first and second, one out. And as soon as that happened, you heard a groan from the fans. They knew the beginning of the end. If they had their closer available, maybe. But he was out on maternity leave. The two guys they put in were an absolute disaster, blew the game. He only thrown 93 pitches, maybe the best pitcher in baseball so far this year. He was on the verge of going 3 straight games with no earned runs and maybe back-to-back shutouts, complete game shutouts, and he pulled them. Absolute disaster. So we might look back in a couple weeks when the Marlins are like 2-12 over a 14-game run and say that was the beginning of the end. Just that's what happens. Some of these managers, they overmanage and usually leads to a blown save.
Well, and also, too, I think a little misled after you face the Rockies and White Sox out of the gate. Now, I know the White Sox swept the Blue Jays, but then you get the Yankees, who have been the best team so far, and the Reds, who are a wild card-ish team. So now you're moving up a little bit with these teams in Cincinnati. They've won 5 straight in a row, beating Texas 3 times over the weekend, on the Marlins twice. We did hit with the Bruins last night, first period against Carolina. And it was a little back and forth in the first. So Boston did come out with a nice plus money win, even though they lost the game in overtime. And unfortunately lost in the Heat Raptors over. That one slowed up in the fourth quarter. So 2-1 night. Can't really complain about that, Lee.
Go 2-1 every single day. That's 5 days. That's going to be a 10-5 record. Take that any day of the week. It's only, 5+ units. Not as good as some of these guys advertising on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook that, they're 24-2. But, if you want to fall for that, fall for it. And you're going to be left high and dry when they lose for you. And then they tell you, what they're selling you is just computer games. And if you want their inside information games, you got to pay them thousands. So if you're looking for someone who's honest and can win for you, we might be able to help you out.
We're going to move over now to the NHL. We hit a first period winner last night, so let's try it again tonight with our blowout special.
Oh, boy. Last one out, turn off the lights. This one's a blowout.
3 games in the NHL tonight, but a big one in New York between the Sabres and the Rangers at the Garden. In New York, they've been on fire of late. It's kind of too little too late. They didn't play well early on in the season, got eliminated, but now they're playing well. And usually for me, this is a hidden gem in these spots. We're going to go with the blowout. We're going to take the Buffalo Sabres first period -0.5. And that at FanDuel is around +150. So, you got to win the period. A tie is a loss in this scenario. But Buffalo, Montreal, and Tampa Bay all tied atop the Atlantic Division with 102 points apiece, each with 4 games to go. Tampa Bay lost at Ottawa last night. Canadians beat the Panthers in the shootout. So now we have a 3-way tie. So this is a big game for Buffalo. And the Rangers, again, playing out the string, but playing well. They have not quit at all. They're coming off a blowout win over the Capitals on Sunday night. But these two teams have split the first 2 games this season. They played back on opening night in Buffalo, and the Rangers shut out the Sabres. Actually, I think it was the second game for the Rangers because they had lost to Pittsburgh the night before. But Buffalo, this is a big game for them that you don't want over the next 4 games to get relegated to third. If you finish second, you still get home ice in the first round. So that's big. You finish third, you're kind of in trouble now because you're going to either Tampa Bay or Montreal in the first round. Obviously, if you finish first, you win the division, you're playing a wild card team. So I think it's just a bigger game for Buffalo. They need a good start here. And the Sabres off this big win over Tampa Bay a couple nights ago at home helped them get back into first place. I'm not going to give you analytics. I'm not going to do any of that. Let's go first period, +150, -0.5 on the Sabres against the Rangers tonight to lead after 20 minutes of play as our NHL blowout special.
Yeah, I know the Rangers have done well of late, but this might be that game where they start putting in some younger players here. So, I'm going to keep riding you. Hey, it takes another second. I know people would love to play, the Yankees versus the Red Sox and the NBA, Boston versus the Knicks. That's great. But, hey, for that extra second to go down to the drop-down menu for a hockey or a player prop, I know it takes another, 30 seconds or a minute to find it and bet it. But, it gives you a winner. Winner pays the same as a game versus the Red Sox and and the Yankees. So we're trying to do our best to help you win. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, and I always like that too. I mean, anybody can, you look at Michigan, UConn the other night in college, but I want to bet on the national championship. That's great. But there's also plenty of games every day. If you can find the angle, a win is a win. So coming up, we are going to hit on baseball for the afternoon. Phillies and the Giants wrap up their series in San Francisco. We have a player prop in that game straight ahead. So that is coming up right here on the Wednesday edition of Locked On Bets. Let's talk now about FanDuel, and a little over a week away, and we are going to be in playoff mode in the NBA where every possession matters, every matchup is magnified, and every game can swing a series. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers a great way to get in on the action. You can bet just $5 and get $250 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. And what's really cool about the FanDuel app, it makes it easy to follow the action of player stats, trends, matchups all in one place. And you have so many choices at FanDuel that not only sides, totals, money lines, but player props as well. If you want to bet on that as we wrap up the regular season and getting into the postseason. Also, you can look at NBA futures as well. The Oklahoma City Thunder, last year's champions, they are the favorite, of course, to win the championship again this year. Right behind them, the San Antonio Spurs. There could be those two teams meeting up a collision course in the Western Conference Finals with the two of them. Also in the East, the Celtics, the Knicks, the Cavaliers, so many teams you could choose from. And you know what? Some of the prices, you get some nice plus money if you were to take a chance on one of those other teams to maybe win the championship. So you can do all of that at FanDuel with the NBA playoffs right around the corner. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. FanDuel, play your game. We continue Locked On Bets here on a Wednesday. Kevin Rogers and Lee Sterling of Paramount Sports. A lot of afternoon action in Major League Baseball. So let's get to one of those games with a player prop inside the National League and a blowout special.
Oh, boy. Last one out, turn off the lights. This one's a blowout.
The Phillies, they kind of been all over the place, I feel like, this season, and they came back to beat the Giants 2 nights ago. They got shut out last night by Robbie Ray, and now they come back for an afternoon affair in San Francisco. And Kyle Schwarber, we know that he could lift off at any time. Lee, what do you like with Kyle Schwarber of the Phillies and his player prop today?
Okay, so sometimes, people like just betting on the player props, the number of total bases or hits. This is a different type of wager, and I think it's a better chance that it hits. So Kyle Schwarber, what is it? Hits, runs, and RBIs over 1.5. So why am I taking it this way, minus 145? Well, he already has 3 home runs, 6 RBIs, already has 2 doubles. I always look to play guys that bat in the top 3, top 4 of the order. You don't want to bet guys hitting 7th or 8th because they might only get 3 at bats. He's going to get almost for sure 4 at bats, maybe 5. So he's a guy they also like to pitch around sometimes. So let's say they walk him and he scores a run. That counts as one that you need. So he's facing a pitcher here, Tyler Mahle, 0-2 with a 7 ERA. Now, Mahle was good last year. This is a guy it's on his 4th team, already at 31 years old. Had a really good season. But before that, had not had a good season, and I think he's going to revert back to poor form. So he's 0-2 with a 7 ERA. He's already been beaten up in the games against the Mets and the Yankees here. Just think this is a great matchup. I can see Schwarber getting at least 1 hit, maybe getting walked 1 time. He could end it, with a hit and an RBI to start the game. And like those first period bets you have in hockey, you can turn off the TV. So I'm going to go Kyle Schwarber, Philadelphia Phillies, over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs, minus 145. It's going to be a blowout special.
All right, and that's an early start, 3:45 in San Francisco, 3:45 Eastern. And keep an eye on that one. A lot of afternoon games today in Major League Baseball. So, Lee, Tomorrow, the Masters begins in Augusta. And, of course, a lot of Major League Baseball, NBA, Stanley Cup playoffs coming up around the corner. So what's going on with Paramount Sports?
Well, what a year it's been so far. Football season, another winning season, win the Super Bowl. 6 out of 7 Super Bowls we've won. We win the college football national championship game. Now won 6 out of 7 college championship games. We won the March Madness final. We've now won 7 of the last 8 March Madness finals. We won last year in the Masters selections, 7 selections. And we go usually top 10, top 20, top 30. So you're just trying to pick a winner. That's just very, very tough. So we're going to give you a lot of action. We're going to give you 7 selections and top 20, top 20, top 10, top 20, top 30. And it's just $47. Won for you last year. You want to have some fun with the Masters. You want to be in it probably till Saturday, Sunday, and get a winner. I think we've got what it takes, including 140 to 50 unit max wager. And on our 40 to 50 unit max wagers, almost 70% lifetime across all sports. So 7 Masters selections ready to go right now. Starts early morning, tomorrow morning, just $47. How do you get it? ParamountSports.com or 800-400-9741.
And don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Locked On Bets, as well as the podcast version you could find on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. Just type in Locked On Bets, and you'll be all set. For Lee Sterling, I am Kevin Rogers. Thank you so much for tuning in to this edition of Locked On Bets right here on the Locked On Podcast Network.